Hi and good evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I am Amibuddham. Now the latest headlines from world channels and news agencies.
Purported leak.
I love your vibe. We like your vibe too.
Every fibre in my body just went into goosebumps.
I want to see something I've never seen before.
Now we're talking, baby.
Fears lives may have been lost in a powerful earthquake in Vanuatu. Landslides and widespread structural damage are being reported. Protest crackdown. Victoria to ban demonstrations near places of worship after Melbourne's synagogue attack.
We must leave no stone unturned to fight the evil of anti-Semitism, to fight the evil of this racism and hate in all of its forms.
Making his mark, former Nine boss Hugh Marks unveils his plans for the ABC. He's taking on the network's top job next year. And Australia frustrated by more rain delays on day 4 of the third test against India. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Joe O'Brien.
Tonight, several breaking stories as we come on the air. The deadly school shooting today. Sources tell us it was a female teenager who opened fire. Also, the news tonight on those mysterious drones, what President-elect Trump is now claiming about them. In New York City, the fire tearing through a holiday market. We have the images here. And a new storm, freezing rain, snow, wind. Lee times it out. First tonight, authorities say a female teenager opened fire at a school in Wisconsin. A teacher and another student killed, several other students wounded, at least 2 in critical condition at this hour. Also tonight, there is news in the mystery drone sightings, 7 states, and now drones reported near an airbase in Ohio, an airport outside New York City, and 2 men now arrested for allegedly flying a drone dangerously close to Boston's Logan Airport, and what President-elect Trump suggested about the drones today. RFK Jr. on the Hill today, Trump's pick to run the Department of Health and Human Services. What RFK Jr. said about vaccines tonight. Floated as a defense strategy. The big moment for long and moving frames by made it a message back tonight. I'm keeping your coffee warm.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World Tonight.
The school in Wisconsin after police say a student opened fire. Police responds to the Abundant Life Christian School in Madison. A teenager and teacher shot dead. At least 6 other students injured. The suspect, a student, also found dead. Our live report from the scene. Also tonight, the Northeast on edge as the drone mystery deepens. The infrared technology being deployed by Homeland Security as President-elect Donald Trump's federal his health secretary pick, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and we're both now to talk to the Supreme Court, hoping to stop a nationwide U.S. ban on faces a major decision.
for our entire country.
Tonight, deadly school shooting in Wisconsin, just days before the holiday break. The new details in the investigation just in. But the elect had to say vaccines and Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
To be much radical.
Our natural world. Tonight's Eye on America, how a Native American tribe and the U.S. government are saving redwood forests.
There's been the Native history and then the American history. This is a chance to write history together.
The CBS Evening News starts now.
Prime Minister remaining
Trudeau urging about political. Prime Minister resign.
Life of our country in an exemplary way.
On her way out, a public rebuke of the Prime Minister as another high-profile Liberal woman shows it's very much no longer 2015. Trudeau's silence deafened by demands from sides that he's the one who needs to go.
Justin Trudeau has lost control.
I'm calling on Justin Trudeau to resign.
But the concerns of Canadians they see to the south a gathering tariff tsunami, and the person who once defended their interest just quit. Clocks are definitely ticking.
From CBC News, this is The National with Chief Correspondent.
And the scramble to swear in a replacement.
It's obviously been an eventful day, and it has not been an easy day.
As calls grow for the Prime Minister to step down.
The Prime Minister must leave this job.
Calling on Justin Trudeau to resign.
Breaking down the new numbers on Canada's balloon debt financial.
The government is really changing their economic focus.
Also, a deadly mudslide followed by a state of emergency and a desperate search in BC.
The house has been completely swept off its foundation.
Everything seemed shit.
Plus, moving day mayhem. How a con artist swindled dozens in a rental scam.
All of us that showed up were kind of stunned and shocked.
And an agent with a nice writ.
The rings were there from very early.
The full circle discovery for Saturday.
News. Omar.
On this, Justin Trudeau's government in crisis. Chrystia Freeland's shocking resignation hours before she was set to unveil Canada's latest economic plan. Why she's jumped ship from cabinet Liberals into damage control.
So it is a feminist government.
Plus, the devastating political blows to the Prime Minister. What are next steps as he faces fresh calls to step down?
Justin Trudeau has lost control.
On Justin Trudeau to resign.
Canada order to work. What it means for the holidays as labor frustrations linger.
Global National with Donna Friesen. Reporting tonight, Nithu Garcha.
Good evening and
we're also learning more about how the Harris campaign fumbled on its media strategy. Her team apparently tried to dip a toe into the world of sports. Now, after her loss, her team moaned how the woke world of sports had shifted. Outkick founder Clay Travis is here. Clay, good morning to you. I want to read this from Semaphore, okay? They're the ones reporting this. Kamala Harris's digital chief on Democrats losing a hold of culture. Sports and culture culture have sort of merged together, and as sports and culture became more publicly and sort of natively associated with this Trump conservative set of values, it got more complicated for athletes to come out in favor of us. It got more complicated for sports parties to take us out because they, quote, do this. Ellen passed, Bill Simmons passed, the Kelsey brothers passed. I mean, the Kelsey brothers are always looking for PR, Clay. Is there something else?
Yeah, well, so first of all, a couple of things. Thanks for having me on, Bill. Congratulations to your Bengals who waxed my Titans yesterday and now to see them actually stop offense for a change. But look, I think what's going on here is they recognize Democrats are in trouble in white, Asian, and Hispanic. And where do young men in this age go? Sport is the guys. And stood it in sense. Remember, they put walls on the ticket. And do you remember how they introduced him, Bill? They didn't call him Governor Walls. They tried to call him Coach Walls.
Sure.
And the problem they have is that you
the tax
since President
Australia and New Zealand here on France 24.
Rochelle Harrison-Pless, one of the 200 France 24 girls around the world.
Hello and a very warm welcome to you. You're watching Daybreak here on France 24 with me, Eve Irvine. These are our headlines. Searching for survivors, rescue workers in Mayotte struggle to reach much of the badly battered island. An estimated 70% of the population there affected by Cyclone Chido. The rebel factions will be disbanded and fighters will join army ranks. The leader of the rebel group that took control of Damascus says integration and cooperation among all Syrians is the way forward. Our reporters are in Aleppo and they've been meeting with members of Bashar al-Assad's elite forces who, for their part, fear retribution. And the 5 judges in the mass rape trial here in France have started their deliberations. They've been asked to give the maximum 25-year sentence to Dominique Pellicot for the decade of sexual abuse he inflicted on his now ex-wife. It's good to have you with us. Well, also coming up, we'll be speaking to Alexis Bloom, director of the documentary The BB Files, which brings to light police interrogations of Benjamin Netanyahu, his family and top business people who say they were asked to send the Premier and his family lots of very expensive gifts. It also draws a direct link between Netanyahu's corruption charges and the war in Gaza. We'll be finding out more in just a few minutes. The search for survivors continues with power and communication lines still down across much of Mayotte, France's poorest overseas territory where
Stephen Cottrell takes over the Archbishop of Canterbury's official duties as leader of the Church of England in exactly 3 weeks' time. But after Justin Welby's historic resignation over the abuse scandal, now the Archbishop of York is himself accused of failing to dismiss a priest accused of grooming teenage girls. Stephen Cottrell has faced repeated questions about how he's handled abuse cases. 4 years ago, as soon as he was installed as Archbishop here in York, he apologised for failing to take proper action against a priest accused of domestic abuse. The same year, he said sorry to a man raped as a teenager by another vicar. Now we reveal fresh concerns about how he dealt with sexual assault allegations in his previous job. Stephen Cottrell was Bishop of Chelmsford for a decade from 2010. One of his rectors in the same diocese was this man, David Tudor. A woman we're calling Cordelia accuses Tudor of sexually assaulting her multiple times in Surrey in the 1980s. The first time when she was just 15 and he was a school chaplain in his late 20s.
I hadn't had many periods at that time, and I had a really bad one that day, and it was really hot and I felt really unwell. So I went back to his house because I needed to wash some of my clothes, and so he told me to wait in his bedroom while that took place, and that's when it happened for the first time, and something in me broke that day, and my whole sense of the world changed.
A couple of years later, she told her parents, who called the police. Tudor was charged with indecent assault, but was acquitted after persuading the jury she'd been over the age of consent.
What impact did that verdict have on you and your family?
Well, devastating. The church community, lots of members sent really hateful point that my parents had to move out of the area.
Yates was convicted of indecent assaults against 3 other girls, and he served 6 months in prison. But the conviction was later overturned on a technicality. He was suspended from ministry for 5 years, but became vicar of Canvey Island in 1997.
Hello there, very good morning to you on this Tuesday morning. The Prime Minister has come under pressure to take China seriously.
That's after the alleged spy Yang Tenbo was unmasked by the courts, revealing a web of influence amongst the British establishment.
Well, Prince Andrew, at the centre of the scandal, confirms he will be attending the royal Christmas function at Sandringham.
Sir Keir Starmer will today visit troops serving on Estonia's border with Russia in a push to support funding for Ukraine. Catherine Forster has the latest.
Welcome to Tallinn, the bitterly cold capital of Estonia. The Prime Minister is here following his trip to Norway. He's come in for a lot of criticism about all these foreign trips. I'll bring you the details of what he's up to shortly.
Lucy Letby's lawyer has said they will be asking the Court of Appeal to immediately review all of her convictions because an expert witness has now changed his mind on the cause of death of 3 of the babies.
Brexit betrayal. Brussels takes the UK to court over breaking the terms of our Brexit deal, hindering the PM's attempt at a reset with Europe.
Rachel Reeves' national insurance hikes will cost children's hospices nearly £5 million more every year. Calls are now for urgent action to stop services being cut.
And it's the time of year when family feuds are put aside for festive cheer. So we're asking this morning, should families reconcile at Christmas?
And in sport this morning, 2 goals in the last 2 minutes settle a 1-1 draw between Bournemouth and West Ham. England get thumped by New Zealand in the 3rd test. And who is the Manchester United mole linking team lineups?
Hello there, good morning. A dry but rather cloudy start and turning wet and windy from the west. I'll be here later with all the details.
Well, we're going to be talking moles at some stage then today, are we not? The time now just after 6 o'clock, it's 2 minutes past 6. I'm Eamon Holmes.
I'm Isabel Webster and this is GB News Breakfast.
National Grading Certificate, Mason Jewelry.
This is Asia Now.
Hello, it's 2 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 11:30 in New Delhi, 1 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Angela Lim. At this hour, China's foreign minister says Beijing and Washington can achieve great things if they work together. This after US President-elect Donald Trump signals openness towards China before he enters the White House next month. South Korea's army chief arrested as the political fallout continues from the botched martial law attempt. Impeachment proceedings against President Yoon Suk-yeol are set to begin next week. And the US hits North Korea and Russia with new sanctions as Ukraine confirms some 30 soldiers from Pyongyang have been killed or injured on the battlefield in recent days.
Setting out his plans for Syria, the triumphant opposition leader says all groups will be involved in writing a new constitution. Hello and welcome to TRT World, live from Istanbul. I'm Efnan Han, also ahead on the program. A house set ablaze in the latest Israeli airstrikes in Gaza. At least 10 Palestinians are killed as ceasefire talks start again. Searching for justice, the family of slain Turkish-American activist Ayşenur Ezgi urges the U.S. to publicly pressure Israel for answers to her killing in the occupied West Bank. Destruction on an unimaginable scale. Hundreds to a hit. Right, we begin over an hour ago. Took place outside a building a few kilometers from the Kremlin. Okay. More story comes to us here too. All right.
Plenty more to come on Tuesday, 17th of amid the
West Africa's regional organization, ECOWAS, has set an exit timeline for the three nations affected by coups following nearly a year of mediation efforts aimed at preventing a significant fracture within the bloc. Bola Tinubu, Nigeria's president and chairman of ECOWAS, emphasized that the global and regional challenges test their collaborative spirit.
Despite the challenges
of interrupted democratic governance in some West African countries, the region has continued to record democratic gains.
Although he termed the exit of the three countries from ECOWAS as disheartening, Omar Toure, the president of the ECOWAS Commission, lauded the dedication of the bloc's envoy in their effort to address the ongoing crisis. Disadvantages.
The United Nations is convening a fresh meeting of Libyan experts in an attempt to revive long-awaited national elections. The meeting will be charged with developing options to overcome contentious issues in the electoral laws, the acting head of the UN mission in Libya, Stephen Curry, said on Sunday. National elections scheduled for December 2021 were abandoned amid disputes over the eligibility of the main candidates. A UN-backed political process to resolve more than a decade of conflicts in the North African country has since stalled. In August, the Libyan parliament, which sits in Tobruk in the east, voted to end the term of the Tripoli-based government of Prime Minister Abdulhamid Deiba. Libya is governed by two rival administrations based in the east and west, respectively. An election would establish a single national government, military, and unify state institutions.
It's a country ravaged by gang violence, and it takes its toll on families. In recent days, a group of women in the Haitian capital Port-au-Prince took part in workshops to help them cope with the trauma of daily life. More than 700,000 people have been internally displaced in Haiti, over 100,000 because of the surge in fighting over the past 9 months. Given the gang situation in the country, which forces many people to leave their homes in search of safer places, it becomes stressful for them after spending over 14 to 16 years in a neighborhood where they've already established a sense of solidarity and community. Women tap their shoulders, arms and heads as they listen to calming music. The workshops are organized by UNESCO in partnership with two Haitian organizations with the aim of giving them tools to deal with their invisible wounds. They taught me how to control stress, how to laugh when it comes back, how to deal with it, and also our emotions. They helped us. We didn't know before these sessions that these exercises really help. The way I arrived, I'm not going back this day. Women have been particularly hard hit by the fighting, which has contributed to a sharp increase in gender-based violence.
As robots become more ingenious than ever, their utility in our day-to-day lives has become more robust. In Edinburgh, the National Robotorium trialed robots to help stroke recovery. A brain-computer interface is attached to the patient's head, which detects brain activity. The robot then responds in real time, mimicking the action the person is trying to perform. The hope is that it could provide a cheaper form of physiotherapy. In a swanky Nairobi suburb, a new dining experience pulled in the crowds. Robots help the staff serve customers at the Robot Cafe, the first of its kind in East Africa. 3 of the bots worked alongside human waiters. The owners of the cafe said the take was too expensive to replace people. The machines are to draw crowds rather than save on wages.
We believe that the customers deserve to have the technology that is also available in developed countries, so that they also experience a few things that are not available in the country.
Lost on the Run starts December 18th on DW.
This is DW News live from Berlin.
Syria's ousted president breaks his silence. Bashar al-Assad addresses his fall from power for the first time. In a written statement, he says he planned to keep on fighting, but Russia evacuated him. And Christians have held their first Mass since the fall of the Assad government. What does the new regime mean for the country's minority groups? Plus, recovery efforts are underway in southern Africa after a deadly cyclone wreaks devastation across Mozambique and the islands of Mayotte. Authorities there fear thousands of people may have died.
Thank you for sparing your precious time. This is Amir Shakil. Have a good life. Bye-bye.